Our tale kicks off at a faraway military outpost in Syria, where intentions are at anal time excessive. Snipers Bobby and 2 Cups are locked in position, preserving a near watch on a organization of insurgents remaining in on their perimeter. Meanwhile, intelligence officer Joe maintains touch together along with her embedded asset, who's trapped deep interior, a closely fortified ISIS compound. The state of affairs quick spirals out of manipulate, while Joe's asset is compromised, her cowl blown. At first, extracting her looks like a manageable task. However, as enemy forces amass, out of doors, the base, Bobby and 2 Cups engage, firing upon the incoming threat. Realizing the venture's stakes, Joe makes a formidable decision. She calls in an A-10 Warthog airstrike to clean the manor. The moment the strike lands, her group scrambles aboard helicopters, placing off for the compound. Even with the asset exposed, Joe remains focused. She is aware she has options, and Bobby is unwavering in his resolve. "I'll by no means say no," he states over the radio. The group will combat till their chief orders them to face down, but time is walking out, and the possibility for extraction slips away. Left without a different choice, Joe authorizes a Reaper drone strike, making sure the asset's destiny is sealed together with the compound's destruction. The missile is launched, and in an instant, the venture concludes. Now no longer with a triumphant rescue, however with a calculated sacrifice. A different beginning, the making of a Marine. 4 years earlier than those events, Cruz Manuelos turned into only a younger girl running at a small town burger joint, trapped in a cycle of abuse. After a protracted shift, she returns domestic to her violent partner, who lashes out bodily while she refuses to comply. This very last act of brutality is the breaking point. Determined to escape, Cruz makes a formidable pass the following morning. She grabs a frying pan and moves back, but her abuser doesn't permit pass so easily. He chases her down, refusing to permit her slip away. Desperation leads her to a Marine Corps recruitment center, wherein a Marine stands as much as her pursuer, forcing him to back off. Inspired via way of means of this display of strength, Cruz makes a life-changing decision. She enlists, understanding it's the simplest manner to truly spoil free. From the instant she enters training, Cruz proves herself to be each bodily awesome and mentally sharp, outpacing a lot of her male counterparts. Her capability doesn't pass unnoticed. An officer pulls her aside, telling her she has what it takes to make an actual difference. Most guys don't do 22 pull-ups in excessive school, he notes, inspired via way of means of her uncooked ability. But it's now no longer pretty much strength. Cruz is driven via way of means of something deeper. She has no family, no ties, no fallback plan. When requested why she's there, her solution is clean. The sturdy protect the weak. For Cruz, turning into a Marine isn't pretty much survival. It's approximately transformation, approximately locating a reason more than herself. And so starts her journey, one which will in the long run lead her to the front lines, wherein she can be able to ought to face challenges a ways extra than she ever imagined. Back with inside the present, Joe gets on replace at the destiny of her compromised asset. She's summoned to an assembly with Donald Westfield, a high-rating CIA official, and her immediate superior, Caitlin Meade. The dialogue turns stressful, while Westfield berates Joe for now no longer noticing a small however critical detail. Her asset had a tattoo. He coldly advises her to look at each inch of all and sundry she recruits for such risky operations. Caitlin, ever the pragmatist, tries to make Josie reason, telling her that the asset's deception method, she can't be helped. But Joe remains visibly shaken through what happened, not able to completely detach from the guilt of the situation. Taking gain of her go back to the United States, Joe visits her family, even though it quickly turns into clean that her presence disrupts extra thanic comforts. Her eldest daughter, Kate, makes no attempt to cover her resentment, outright telling her father, Neil, that she despises having Joe around. In a quiet moment, Neil and Joe speak the developing divide among her and the kids. Lightly indicates that she ought to name ahead earlier than displaying up so he can put together them. But their communique isn't simply about parenting. It's suggestions on the complicated nature in their relationship. When Joe asks if Neil is seeing and someone, he admits he is, even though best to hold a feel of human connection while she's gone. The revelation doesn't faze Joe, and notwithstanding their unconventional situation, there's an unstated expertise among them. It's clean they nonetheless take care of every other, despite the fact that their lives have taken notably unique paths. But Joe's time at Domestic is quick-lived. She has every other venture. A new lioness have to be recruited. Joe's crew makes a speciality of tracking and putting off high-fee targets. However, achievement hinges on embedding the right operatives in risky situations. During a briefing, Joe is short to discover her next recruit, Cruz Manuelos. She believes Cruz has the capabilities and longevity required for the job. The interview system is not anything quick of intense. Cruz is made to strip down so Joe can look either frame for tattoos, making sure no information could compromise her. In cover, despite the invasive nature of the test, Cruz stands her ground, her dedication evident. Impressed, Joe wastes no time in handing over the verdict. Cruz has been decided on for the Lioness program. With her venture set in motion, Cruz asks the inevitable question, who's my mark? Joe famous that Cruz's goal is to infiltrate the social circle of a girl named Alia, who's intently related to a high-fee target. His region stays unknown, however. Through Alia, they may sooner or later get to him. The avenue in advance won't be easy. As they head to Kuwait, Cruz is brought to the relaxation of Joe's squad, a tight-knit and battle-hardened group that consists of Randy, Tex, Tucker, Bobby, and 2 Cups. The group wastes no time in setting Cruz through the same old initiation, playful, banter, jokes, and a few good-natured hazing. Why 2 cups? She asks, approximately one of the members. 2 cups of something. You want to recognize wherein to sit, any other group member quips. The atmosphere is difficult, however familial, putting the level for the hard-earned accept. As true with Cruz will ought to gain, after a nighttime of ingesting and bonding. Joe guarantees Cruz doesn't get too comfortable. The subsequent morning, Cruz is woken up and advised to get moving. Her project is formally underway. Her first objective? To pass paths with Alia while she's out buying. Still groggy from the preceding nighttime's ingesting, Cruz struggles to shake off her hangover, whilst additionally seeking to consider the specifics of her Cal story. But there's no time to hesitate. When Cruz sooner or later meets Alia, the stumble upon is seamless. Alia casually invitations her to hold buying together, testing the waters in their newfound acquaintance. As they browse through stores, small speak flows, wherein Cruz is from, if she has own circle of relatives nearby, and if she's seeking out a husband, the communique is light, however each phrase matters. Meanwhile, Joe watches from a distance. She sees Cruz mixing in, adapting to the moment. With a quiet nod, Joe confirms, Cruz is in. The project has formally begun. Hope you loved looking this video. If you did, please supply it a thumbs up, proportion your mind in the feedback below, and enroll in our channel for extra fantastic content. Thank you for looking.